In this video, I'd like to explain the benefits of using the physical inventory interface with your pharmacy system and show you how easily it can be used to simplify your cycle counts, your full store inventory, or just your controlled substances. So to configure the interface, you go into the settings menu, swipe up on the left pane, go to inventory, select your inventory interface provider, that's your pharmacy software system. If your software is not supported here, please, or listed here, please check with them to see if they do support the Eyecon interface. They may, in fact, do so and just not be recorded in our settings menu, in which case it would probably work with the Eyecon native selection in this menu that indicates that they've adopted our standard inventory interface. If you select one of the Eyecon native interfaces, you simply set up an IP address and a port number. Some software providers use the same IP address and port number as the remote server tab on the settings menu up here. Others will use a unique port number. Most of these other settings you don't have to make a change to. The display quantity on hand, some pharmacy systems prefer that the current on-hand position in your inventory system is not displayed to the user so that it's effectively a blind count to them. They aren't aware of what the correct amount is when they're doing the count. They just count whatever's there and record it. Other people prefer to have their users aware of that so they can double check the shelf if the case they're off by a full stock bottle or two. They can double check the shelf and see if there's another bottle that they didn't count correctly. Export inventory, that's if you want to just download a file of all the counts that you performed on the Eyecon since you last deleted it, and there's delete the counts on the Eyecon. That's not deleting anything in your pharmacy system. And then there's a reason codes, import and export of a file, so you can customize the reason codes that we're about to see in the inventory mode. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of here and not save those changes so that it works for the mode I want to demonstrate. So when I select physical inventory, if you've already done some inventory counts on the Eyecon, it's going to pop up this screen and say, do you want to delete your old records? I think we're going to streamline this menu on the next release. So if you're looking at this after July, you might only see two buttons here, and we're not going to automatically walk you through deleting. You'd have to go into the settings menu to delete the inventory. So most times you're just going to click no. The only time I would click yes currently would be if you are going to do a full store inventory and you want to have a file on board the Eyecon that only contains the counts that you're doing today. Then you would delete all the prior counts you've performed. So next, depending on the pharmacy system, in McKesson's case, they do require that these choices match exactly how your inventory system is set up on their Enterprise RX. But for most, these are not even in use. And you can customize these though by exporting a file from the settings menu and modifying it and re-importing it. So I'm just going to select count for my inventory count types, and I'm going to scan my stock item. So as soon as I scan my stock bottle, the Eyecon sends that drug number off to your pharmacy system and requests it to tell us how much are on hand in their system. We then display that if you've enabled that feature in the settings menu that I was describing a few moments ago. So in this case, the pharmacy system says there's 36 pills on hand and we have 0 on the tray right now. In order to record full bottles at a unit of use, the Eyecon knows, in this case, there's 400 in a full bottle. So I can type in how many full bottles I have and it will do the math for me and say, well, that's 1,200 pills in those full bottles. In this case, it turned red because 1,200 is much more than my 36 that the inventory system thought we had. At this point now, it says there's 0 on the tray, 1,200 already counted. I can pour some on the tray, give them a little tap to get them off each other, and now I've got 290 more. If I've got more than can fit on the tray, I can simply press my Add to Total button. It tells you I've recorded that, dump those off the tray into a separate container, and then now it's got 1,490 counted and 0 on the tray. I can pour more of my bottle on the tray. Do that as many times as you need to with the Add to Total if you've got a very large quantity. When you're all done, as soon as you press that Finish button, it sends that final count back to your pharmacy system and updates their on-hand position. And then it prompts you to dump your pills off the tray. If you're using a 9430, then it will prompt you to dump the tray into the funnel and the funnel into the vial, or into the stock bottle, I should say. And that completes the count. Now you'll notice if I scan this same bottle again, The inventory system is going to report that we're 1,641 on hand currently because it just was updated with the count we just performed. The inventory mode on the Eyecon can also be used to record all your hand count items, which are designated as unit of use items in your pharmacy, such as syrup, syringes, ointments, creams, inhalers, and what have you. So when you scan the barcode on one of those, the Eyecon advances to the inventory mode, just like before, except it designates this as hand count because I've already selected this to be a hand count. You can't train a pill for one of those syrup, syringes, etc. So we're in the count mode, but it's not taking pictures of the tray. It's not trying to analyze the count for you. It requires you to record it. So to record this one, I click unit of use. It knows this is a 50 milliliter bottle of this oral suspension. So I can either type in 1.5 bottles if I know I have roughly a half full bottle, or you could key in 1 bottle plus 20 milliliters if you knew exactly how much was in the bottle. And either way, it will do the math for you and add those up, and then you can press finish to record that one. If I scan that bottle again, go back into the count screen, that quantity should show up, showing me that I've updated the inventory for this unit of use item. That concludes the use of our interface in the inventory mode on the Eyecon.